Hello, and a warm welcome to everyone tuned in. I'm Cath Ellis, coming to you all the way from Melbourne, Australia. A little about me: I've been running my own freelance e-learning design business for the last 8 years, and I've been working with clients all across the globe. Now, most of you who know me won't be surprised that I'm doing this session on ChatGPT. I've been using it regularly for the last 12 months, and it's been something I've incorporated in my everyday practice. Now I want to share with you what I've learned and give you some great tips on using ChatGPT to design great learning experiences. Now, before we begin, let's do some housekeeping. I'm going to be in the chat to answer questions throughout this session, so feel free to put 3 cues before your question so I can filter them easily. Now, I don't want to overly complicate this. ChatGPT is a cutting-edge AI from OpenAI, designed to mimic human conversations. It's ideal for crafting content, answering queries, and enhancing learning materials, making complex tasks simpler and more efficient. Now, AI, or artificial intelligence, isn't new. It's been evolving for decades. Originating from the mid-20th century, AI has progressed from basic computing experiments to sophisticated systems like ChatGPT. Now, there are some ethical considerations that you need to think about. When using ChatGPT, you really need to consider privacy, and that's in the way that you handle personal data as well as confidential information. I'll hopefully be showing you some examples about the kind of scenarios that I put in to get the right response. You also want to watch out for bias in responses and work to correct that. You also want to ensure transparency about how and why ChatGPT is used. And finally, consider the impact of your use on jobs and try and complement rather than replace human roles. Now, if you do those things, you're more likely to have no issues using ChatGPT in your role. If you don't, you're more likely to have your boss say, "Nope, we're turning this off." I've gone ahead and put your resources all in one place. I've created a Notion page for you. You can go and look at it at any time. And here there is a table of contents that you can use if you want to. My contact information, a little bit about the session. This is the main focus of today's session, talking about how to perfect your prompt. So the detail is there. I've got 10 useful prompts. I should say you can copy and paste these as well. This is just code. And GPTs. I'm going to be talking about GPTs. I've got a super secret master prompt that I've shared. And I've got some GPTs that I've created that you can have a little look at and play with. So that is your resources in one place. Okay, very quickly, for those of you who have never used ChatGPT before, all you're going to do is go to sign up. You're going to put in an email address. I'm going to sign up with just an account that I have never used before. And that's it. You're in. You don't need to do anything. It's as simple as that. If you want to upgrade your plan, it's $20 a month. It does give you access to GPT-4, to browse, create, and use GPTs, and use things like DALL-E, etc. So if you are wanting to upgrade, it is a good investment. Now let's explore the 6 key ingredients for crafting great ChatGPT interactions, ordered from mandatory to optional. Think of this as a checklist that you need to follow. First, we have tasks. Now this is something every prompt needs. Begin with a clear action verb to articulate your goal. This step is crucial for setting the direction of your prompt. Adding depth, we have context. It's all about the setting. Who are you? What's the backdrop of your question? Understanding the environment and your objectives will give a much better response. Then there are exemplars. Including a relevant example can significantly enhance the output's relevance and quality, though it's not always necessary. Introducing persona brings personality into the mix. Who do you need the AI to be? This layer adds dimension to the interaction, making the experience more personalized. Considering format shapes the output structure. Envisioning the end result, whether it's a table or markdown or headers, guides the way the information is presented. Lastly, we address tone. It's about the vibe you're aiming for. Directly specifying the desired tone ensures the output aligns with your expectations. To craft the perfect prompt, blend these components based on your specific needs. The formula, persona, plus context, plus task, plus exemplar, plus format, plus tone, offers flexibility. Adjust and use the elements as you see fit. All right, now let's get into our first prompt, that is verifying information. Before we begin, I'm not messing around. We're just going to use ChatGPT 3.5, okay? Now, when I talk about that, this is what this means. The paid version is 4. The free one is 3.5, okay? So we're just going to stick with the 3.5. That goes back to January 2022, where I think ChatGPT 4 is April 2023. So some of the information might not be completely up to date, but for a lot of the stuff that we're doing when we're generating ideas, we don't need it. Let's just talk about one more thing about the interface before we get started, custom instructions. This is really useful for you. If you're in a role and you don't want to keep repeating that you're an e-learning designer, you work for an L&D team internally, or you work for an agency, you build external e-learning, whatever it is, you can put that into your custom instructions so it can just remember. Here's how I use it. I put into my custom instructions, please write in Australian English spelling, because by default, the system is American spelling. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Just kind of wanted to mention it. I'll be talking about GPTs as well. I've kind of created GPTs to do some of these prompts, but I've been able to contextualize it. Anyway, I won't get out of the realm of what we're talking about. We're going to stay focused. Let's look at verifying information. So I'm going to jump into Notion. I'm going to grab this prompt and I'm going to paste it here into my ChatGPT 3.5. All right, now, and feel free to do this at the same time if you want. If you've signed up to ChatGPT and you want to do this at the same time, so you can see the kind of output that's different, you're welcome to do it. All right, so let's have a quick look at this prompt, persona. Now, it's got all of these kind of tags, persona, context, task. I've tested it. It doesn't make any difference whether you leave these in or not. I've put them in to help you understand my formula. If you just paste them in, and you'll see we still get a really great result. So, act as a legal expert, familiar with workplace regulations, fine. Context. I am developing an e-learning course for employees in New York City to ensure compliance and awareness. Task. Now, this is the most important word. Verify. Remember, I mentioned tasks. There absolutely has to be some kind of task. You have to tell it what you want it to do. You can leave everything else out, but this is so important. Now, verify. This is a word that I've just come across using in ChatGPT. It's so powerful. Verify the most current laws and regulations on bullying and harassment. Exemplars, non-applicable. Format, Summarize the findings in bullet points, tone, professional and straightforward. Now, see this verify? In the past, I might have said, act as a legal expert. I might have told it I'm creating an e-learning course, but I would go research in Google, then bring the information in, the current laws, and then ask it to verify that. Let's see what the output is on this. All right, so it's got a little bit of introduction here, legal framework, definition of harassment, employer obligations, anti-retaliation protections, statute of limitations, consequences, conclusion. Okay, so what's it got here? New York State human rights law. So I'm going to just say, I want to know more about this. This is how I go about it. If it doesn't have a number, I'll just copy it and I'll say expand on, and I'll just paste it in. And let's see what it comes up with. So now it's actually telling us about the legal framework. Okay, so that's good. So it's, we can ask it a question. For example, ChatGPT 4, it's going to search Bing, right? It's going to search the web. But let's just see what it says when I say, where did you get this information? All right, so it's saying, I generated the information based on my training data. Okay, so I'm going to say, how, what date is your training data up to? All right, January 2022. Okay, that's fine. So it's got a lot of things here. It's got employee obligations, different things to look at. I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think of the prompt? Have you used a specific prompt to verify information? Has this given a better output? Drop your comments below and we'll take a look at that. Let's move on to our next prompt, which is generating ideas. Before we do that, I'm going to show you something quick. Here, you can click on these three dots and you can rename it. So I think I'd find it easier if it says verifying information. And you can share it. So if you click on the share and go copy link, now if you share it with someone, they can see that entire chat, which is really useful to share with other people. Cool. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so now we're going to look at generating ideas. I'm going to jump into Notion, grab that prompt, let's copy it and paste it. Let's take a look. So, act as an experienced instructional designer. That's fine. Task, generate creative ideas for an e-learning course on bullying and harassment. Context, this course is aimed at a diverse workforce and should cover various scenarios and resolutions. Exemplars. So this is us giving it examples. Think along the lines of interactive scenarios, real-life testimonials, and gamified quizzes. Format, list the ideas with brief descriptions and keep the tone inspiring and engaging. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so some of these are great. Interactive scenario simulations, develop realistic interactive scenarios where learners can navigate through different workplace situations involving bullying and harassment. User makes decisions and witnesses the consequences of their choices. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I do all the time. So I'm going to expand on that and get more information. But let's have a look. It says real life testimonials and case studies, gamified quizzes and instant feedback. Now we're going to look at learning. We're going to go into more detail of this, creating learning activities. But let's just see what we can do with this. VR, I mean, I'm not sure if that's realistic in something like a compliance course, but role-playing workshops, interactive storytelling modules, social learning platforms. Let's expand on this. Let's see what it comes up with. So expand on this. Let's see what it gives us. All right, imagine stepping into the shoes of a team member in your virtual workplace, facing challenging scenarios related to bullying and harassment. The interactive scenario simulation in this e-learning course are designed to immerse learners into realistic situations. Present learners with a range of workplace scenarios, each reflecting a diversity of the workforce. This could include gender-based harassment. Okay, so again, it's given. So I'm going to say branching storylines, expand on. All right. So it's at the moment giving us more and more examples of it. So I'm going to say here, create me an example of and then I'm just going to paste. Right, so now it's getting to the good stuff, okay? Imagine you're a project manager leading a diverse team. Okay. So it's giving us something. I might go deeper here at this point and say, okay, this isn't deep enough. I want 4 options per choice. I want it to go 5 levels deep to see the outcome of this scenario. We won't do this now. I wanted you to just see what this prompt initially gave us as far as generating ideas and how you can go about pulling more information from this prompt. Did you like this prompt? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. Now let's move on to rewording content. I'm going to go to my Notion board. I'm going to copy this example and I'm going to paste it in. Feel free to be doing this with me, okay? All right, let's look at the persona because I think this is the most important thing that you need to make sure is correct. Act as a workplace trainer, explaining a complex topic to an adult learner. So we've really defined this here. We're not going to get something for a child, like it's a teacher talking to a child. We've defined it. Context. The content is for an introductory section of a course on bullying and harassment. Task. Reword the definition of workplace bullying to make it easily understandable for all employees. Now, if we didn't have something that's so well defined, you can paste something in, okay? In the exemplars, we've got use simple everyday language. The format, we're telling them we want the content in a paragraph, and the tone is going to be a friendly and accessible tone. Let's see what it comes out with. Now, straight off the bat, I hate this hey there team. We haven't defined that, and that might be fine for whatever you're creating. I feel like I've missed out in the context that this is an e-learning course. So I'm going to tell it, remove the welcome. This is an e-learning course. All right. But it is an intro, and you may use welcomes in your e-learning courses in the intro. So let's see what it's come back with. So today we're tackling an important topic, workplace bullying. Now let's keep it simple. Workplace bullying happens when someone at work treats you unfairly, like picking on you, making you uncomfortable, and spreading rumors about you. It's basically the opposite of teamwork and respect. I don't mind this. This isn't too bad. It can be, now I use this example friendly to just see what the output would be. Sometimes friendly is too friendly. So what you can do is you can go back and say, make this friendly, but a little bit more professional. I don't want you to overthink all of these words that we can use. Just think about what's in your mind and just put it in, and it's likely it'll get it closer to where you want it to be. So I'm pretty happy with this output. I don't think we need to go into rewording content much more. If you have any feedback on it, drop it in the comments below. Has this been a good prompt for you? Could you see yourself using it? Let's move on to the next prompt, generating a course outline. I'm going to come over to Notion. Let's take a look at this one in more detail. Persona, act as a senior learning experience designer. Task, create a course outline for 30 minutes on bullying and harassment in the workplace. Context, a course will be rolled out to adult learners within the company based in New York City. Exemplars, so we're telling them what we want. Include a section on introduction, definitions, law, and regulations, identifying bullying, responding to bullying, and a conclusion. Format, use headers for each section and bullet points for subtopics. Ensure the tone is professional and engaging. Let's see what this comes up with. All right. So again, as far as generating ideas, this is great. This is a compliance course, so I pretty much know what to look out for. But this is pretty good. So we've got the introduction, definitions, law and regulations, identifying bullying, exactly what we've asked them to do, responding to bullying, prevention strategies, conclusion. And then it's actually got some ideas for interactive scenarios, assessments that you could use, additional reading materials. So this isn't too bad. You'll see that with ChatGPT, it normally has this pattern of doing a heading, 3 sections, very, very balanced. And we know that curriculum development isn't always that way. But I think this is pretty good. I would be happy to, for example, if I wanted to just look at this a little bit closer, I could go expand on, and I can just paste that in. And it will give me more information, which I can then go in and do expand on even further. So this is definition of bullying, harassment, verbal bullying. Yeah, so this is pretty good. I mean, there are times that we're going to be asked as learning designers to develop a module without having any SME. We need something on this topic. Can you put something together for us? I think for generating ideas and giving a team something, a skeleton to work on, something like this is great. Let me know what you think about this prompt. Could you use something like this in your workplace? And have you tried doing something similar? Put your comments below. Okay, so now we're going to look at learning objectives. Now, for anyone who's used ChatGPT, I often hear them say, I just can't get it to give me a good output. It gives me the words like understand and know, and let's try this prompt. So I'm going to jump over to Notion and I'm going to copy it and we're going to paste it in, and let's just take a look at it. So we've got act as an instructional designer. Fine. Task. Draft learning objectives for the bullying and harassment course using Bloom's taxonomy. So see how we can actually underpin tasks with the theory. We can tell it exactly what we need it to do. Context. Objectives must guide adult learners to recognize, respond to, and report bullying and harassment. So again, we can align this to when we ask a client, how are you going to measure success? And they say, well, we want to, we ultimately want staff to understand how to report bullying and harassment. you can add that in. So we're actually getting it to focus on building us learning objectives to what they're trying to achieve. Exemplars. So we're telling them now what we want. Start with an active verb such as identify, describe, and evaluate. Avoid non-measurable verbs like understand. Hallelujah. Format. List each learning objective clearly. Tone, clear and direct. Let's see what it comes up with. This is pretty good. We've got our active verbs. Identify various forms of bullying harassment in the workplace, including verbal, non-verbal, and digital manifestations. Wow, that's a fancy word. Describe the psychological and emotional impact of bullying and harassment on individuals and the overall work environment. Let's just out of curiosity, I'm just going to say expand on this. So again, you might want to do your learning objectives first. You're tying it in with what their business is trying to achieve, and then you are building your curriculum from that. And that's normally the way we go about designing curriculum. All right, so here we've got individual well-being, interpersonal relationships, organizational culture, physical health implications, team dynamics. Again, we can, jump in this, expand on, and from here, as we were kind of looking at some quiz questions previously, we can generate quiz questions from this. So I could say create MCQs based on, and I'm going to say negative ripple effects. Now we're going to go into learning activities next, but I just wanted you to see how easy it is for you to ask it to do things based on specific information. All right, enough of learning objectives. I'm pretty happy with this output. There was a lot. I would work on refining this, but for the sake of just showing you a good prompt, I'd love to get your feedback. Have you tried using ChatGPT for learning objectives? Have they been terrible? Is this prompt any better? Put your comments below. And now let's look in more detail at designing learning activities, okay? I'm going to jump over to my Notion board, paste it here. Let's take a look at this. So, persona, act as a curriculum developer with expertise in adult learning. Task, design multiple choice questions for the bullying and harassment course with correct and incorrect feedback aligned with the learning objectives. We don't have the learning objectives, but I'm just going to continue to go with this because normally you would know your learning objectives before you do this. Context. Activities should reinforce the content taught and use Bloom taxonomy for cognitive levels. Exemplars provide a scenario, question, 4 choices, and feedback for each option. Format each activity with clear headings for scenarios, question choices, and feedback. Tone, educational yet supportive. Let's see if it gives us what we asked for. All right. You're a team leader in a diverse workforce where individuals with different backbones collaborate. Okay, so this has got a scenario here. And it's got questions. So you've got your answer. So this is pretty good. So you've got a scenario, you've got a question, you've got choices, and it's got feedback for each of those choices. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it's got multiple versions of it. So there's not much that I would really change from that. That's pretty much what I'd be looking for from that prompt. I think we can move on to the next prompt. If you're happy with that, you let me know what you think of this this prompt. What would you do to change it, if you would change it? And, you know, how have you felt with your prompt design to get multiple choice questions? So again, we don't have the learning objectives, but if you were doing this in the way that we develop curriculum, you would have that first. So, right, let's move on to the next one, which is creating videos and transcripts. Let me go over to Notion, grab that prompt, and let's just take another look at this. So the persona: act as a scriptwriter experienced in instructional design. Not sure if it needs that script writing needs to be experienced in instructional design, but let's just see what it comes up with. Task: outline a video introducing bullying and harassment, including scene content and transcripts. The video should serve as an engaging introduction to the course set in a generic office. Describe scenes with character interactions in an office setting. Indicate what images and dialogue to include. Use a storyboard format with descriptions for visuals and text for dialogue. And the tone is confident yet friendly, clear language. Let's see what this gives us. So remember, this was very generic. It would probably give us something quite different if we were very specific. So opening shot, a bustling office with employees engaged in work, upbeat background music. Text on screen: creating a respectful workplace, recognizing and preventing bullying and harassment. Introduction to characters: close-up shots of our main characters, Sarah, Alex, and Chris. Normal office day: employees working together, chatting, collaborating. Sarah: welcome Chris, we're a close-knit team, everyone's opinion matters. The lunchroom incident: okay, Chris alone in the lunchroom, looks uncomfortable. Alex: hey Chris, mind if I join you? Sure. Okay, Alex makes inappropriate comments. Chris visibly is uncomfortable. Harassment can be subtle and may go unnoticed. It's important to recognise signs. Chris discussing the incident. So this is okay. It's going through and introducing the characters, going through what the incident is, reporting it, meeting, prevention strategies, conclusion. You know, I like that it is giving ideas, again, generating ideas of how we can go about presenting this. What text or what narrative you could use on the screen. I don't mind this at all. And remember, this was very, very generic. So if you were going to refine this and even give it character names or go into detail about a specific incident, you could get an even better prompt out of it. I won't go too deep into this one because in the next prompt, which is creating a podcast, we can refine this a little bit better when it comes to narrative. But this gives you an idea of what you can get out of ChatGPT with regards to video ideas, especially if you're not too strong with developing videos. All right, let's move on to the next prompt. Okay, now we're going to look at another prompt. Creating a podcast. I'm going to go over to Notion and let's have a look at this podcast prompt in more detail. So I've said act as a corporate communication specialist, create a podcast script promoting the new bullying and harassment module internally within the business. The podcast should highlight key aspects of the module and the importance of workplace culture, including intro, interviews with creators, discussion on the relevance of the module, and a call to action. Script format with cues for intro, guest speaking, and outro, professional, engaging, persuasive. Now, I have put this prompt together as, for example, to give people ideas of how they can go about starting to put podcasts in the workplace. Some people don't know how to even begin. So this is very unusual that we're asking it to write a script for the guest and also the host of the podcast. But it gives us ideas of how we could be splitting up the content, the conversations, and it will allow each person involved to then go and refine their message. So let's have a look at this. Host, so we've got a nice introduction here. This is not just another training program, it's a pivotal step. And I look at this as being a marketing tool. So there's plenty of time that I create modules for clients and they say, I want a trailer for it. We want to put it up in the break room. We want to put it on the intranet. And they're asking for different fun things that I can do. I can provide them as an instructional designer to market. Now, things like podcasts, this is easy to do. So I think this isn't too bad. We've got interview with the guests. So now the thought process behind the module, here, how it's aligning with the company's values. So it's doing what I'm asking now with slight tweaks. We could say, include an introduction, take the interview with creator, and leave the relevance of the module and call to action and take the guest speakers out, and it would be a completely different thing. Love to know your ideas on how you could use a prompt like this. Do you like this prompt? Have you tried to do podcasting prompts before? Let me know. We're now going to move on to writing a cover letter. Okay, so this prompt's going to look at writing a cover letter. Now, I know it's not L&D or, I just thought it might be an interesting prompt to use and you might be able to find it useful. So let me grab my Notion formula and we're going to pop it here and look at it a little bit more closely. So the persona is act as a career advisor specializing in the e-learning industry. Task, write a custom cover letter based on the provided job advertisement. Context, the user is applying for a job that emphasizes experience in e-learning design and teamwork. Exemplars, so we're going to paste in a job advert here. Format, follow the structure of a professional cover letter. Tone, confident, professional, and tailored to the job. So I just found a job that I'm going to copy. And I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Let's see what this comes up with. Now this was just off a local site for a learning designer. Okay. Now, it's a bit long, but it's enthusiastic. And what's interesting about this is it's taking a look at the job and, it's allowing it to be really personalized for the job. I mean, how many times do we write a cover letter and it's just very generic? Okay, so I'm going to say here, this is way too long. See what it comes back with. I mean, this sounds a bit corny. I am drawn to HCA Education's commitment to a people-centric culture, work-life balance and continuous development. The prospect of working in a supportive team environment and contributing to a growing organisation aligns with my career goals. So I'm going to say, can you make it less cheesy? I mean, this is better. Of course, this is just generating some ideas. I would never just take this and use it, but I thought it was an interesting formula to show you. Give me your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know if you have ever tried using something like this and were you successful in the job. Let's take a look at our last prompt, which is proofreading content. I'm going to grab this prompt from Notion, drop it in here. So the persona acts as an e-learning instructional designer. Task, proofread a section of an e-learning course for grammatical errors and clarity. Context, the content is part of a course on workplace ethics. Exemplars, highlight changes in bold. Format, text with corrections highlighted, and tone precise and helpful. Now, I'm just going to write underneath here. Here is the section, okay? And I'm just going to paste it. I'm actually just taking something from Wikipedia. All right. So you can see how it's made some changes here. Work ethic, so this desire, so it says the desire or determination to work, and it seems to have done the same here. That is respectful, that is respective to an individual's field or work. The Bible in Genesis. I don't know what change it made there. Anyway, this might be, I love seeing changes. It drives me crazy when someone has gone into my work and has not, used kind of track changes. So something like this is pretty good. Again, just going back to that ethical thing of putting content into ChatGPT, we have to be very careful that nothing is confidential or is private information. If it's general information, something like workplace ethics, and we're not talking about anything, too detailed, it's going to be fine. So hope you found that useful. I have one further prompt for you. And I'm really excited to show you. So let's take a look at GPTs. All right, so now we're going to look at GPTs. I'm super excited to show you this. I've logged into my ChatGPT, so I'm on the paid plan. So you need to be on a paid plan to do this. And let me show you GPTs. So what are GPTs? Well, you can now create a custom version of ChatGPT that combines instructions, extra knowledge, and any combination of skills. So you can see here, they've got some featured ones like the murder mystery. This is a travel, I think. Canva have got one by ChatGPT, DALL-E, writing. And you can create these and keep them in-house, or you can share them publicly. There's a whole variety of different things that you can do. Now, instead of me showing you other people's agents, I want to teach you how to create an agent. So we're going to go here to My GPTs, and I just want to show you under the hood of the way I created these GPTs. Now, remember, I gave you the super secret master prompt. I use that to create these GPTs. So I'm going to just show you quickly under the hood of what these look like. So if you were going to start from scratch, you would need to have a name, a description. This is the description here, the instructions, and you can see that there's quite a lot involved here in putting the instructions in place. The conversation starter, and you can put a document, you can upload a document for the GPT if there's additional information that it's going to need, and you can customize it with your name and also a logo. Now, if you were going to start from scratch to do this, it's actually a bit mind-boggling. Like, what am I going to need to put in to get a good output? So this is where the super secret master prompt comes in. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create a agent using this prompt. So I'm going over to Notion, I'm copying the master prompt and I'm pasting it in here. Let's quickly go through this because we're running out of time and I want to show you this, but I want to try and do it pretty fast. Find me a unique problem solving method that will help me solve my problem in the most efficient manner. After you find the problem solving method, create an agent that will walk me through step by step solving my issue based on the unique problem solving method you found previously. We've got an example here, the instructions. Okay, so when I provide the command, use the following structure to facilitate an effective brainstorming process. So set the stage, okay, generate ideas, build on the ideas, categorize, combine ideas, and prompt for different perspectives. Okay. Then it's ending the instruction and it has a little bit more. So here is where you're going to change the, this is where you're going to change the, identify what the problem is. So my problem is I want I want some help creating ideas for images for my e-learning course. I want some help creating ideas to design images for my e-learning course. Let's just see what this comes up with. All right, so essentially what this is now doing is creating the content that we need to paste into that blank agent, all right? So this is called it Vision Craft. All right. This is quite hard to do fast, so I'm going to do the best that I can. Now, what I might do to just speed this up is I am going to go to so I'm going to just get this ready. Okay, so this is everything it's created to create that that prompt. I'm going to come here, go create prompt, and I need to now take this window, put it onto my other screen, and let's plug it in. So this is called Vision Craft description. Okay, so this was the description it gave me. The Vision Craft agent is tailored to facilitate the generation of compelling image ideas for e-learning courses. The aim is to inspire creativity, foster innovation, and streamline the design process, ensuring that the resulting image enhance learning experience, engagement, and effectiveness. All right, my instructions. I'm gonna pop those in. Okay. Conversation starter. So I'm pretty sure it said initiate Vision Craft. Boom. We've got nothing we're going to upload, and I'm just going to, oh God, every time I create a DALL-E image, it's horrible. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, utterly horrible, but we're going to go with it. We're going to save it. I'm just going to save it to me. You can obviously share it with a link or to publicly share it. Just going to do it only to me. And let's quickly look at Vision Craft. I mean, this is something that you guys are just going to have to play around with, but I wanted to show you the process of how you do it. So initiate Vision Craft. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, I'm going to set objective, define the objectives for your course. All right, we have the prompt that I created for the bullying and harassment. So let's just create some quick learning objectives because I don't know where the other one was. We just need a few. Actually, this is a good example of how ChatGPT 4 can give you more than what ChatGPT 3.5. Okay, I'm just going to stop it here and I'm going to just use these ones. Okay, I'm going to go back to Vision Craft and I'm going to paste those in. Okay, so it's going through this. Okay, with these objectives in mind, the next step is gather inspiration. I'm going to say real images. I use Shutterstock. So this is the first time I'm doing this as well. We're doing this together. So it's certainly giving some good advice. Okay, so it says here at the end, after gathering these inspirations, we can use them as reference to generate ideas for our own visual concepts that align with our e-learning course objectives. Would you like to proceed? So I'm just going to say yes. All right, so it's recommending vignettes, before and after scenarios. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I want you to have a play. It is really something that I think might be useful within your teams if you really refine that, really refine the prompt and it works well. These actually do go quite deep, but anyway, I just wanted to show you how you can make your own GPTs. Thank you so much for tuning into this session. I have had an absolute ball. Feel free to reach out to me via email. I love chatting with people. I'd love to hear about your journey with ChatGPT. Have a great day. Enjoy the conference.